Sure. So growing up, I collected elephants, and my parents and grandparents, when they traveled, they brought me lucky elephants. And I just always enjoyed watching them. Have always been my favorite animal because they're fun, they're social, they're playful. And 8 years ago, I had the opportunity to go to Africa with my mom and my husband. And it was amazing. We went on all sorts of safaris and we saw the animals in the wild. And they are very social animals, but they're also very maternal animals and they take care of one another. So you see the mom walking with the baby, they travel in herds. And it was just incredible to see how they actually are. They're very playful. They were playing by the water. So that's why I thought it would be a good character for a book, because they are extremely social, but also very nurturing and kind animals. So where the girl is shy, the elephant is a nurturing kind of animal that would be nice to her, rather than, obviously I'm not going to do like a lion or something like that. So that's why I incorporated the elephant, because to me, they've always been lucky. We call them lucky elephants. And I just think that their personalities matched the character. And also, kids think they're funny because of their size. So I thought that it would be funny to have an elephant at the beach rather than, we all love dogs, but a dog at the beach we've seen before. So it's just something that makes it funny.
Everybody, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter, the author podcast. We get to meet amazing authors from around the world. And I love children's books. I love kids authors who write amazing stories to help with us as parents to read to our kids at night and for our kids to fall in love with. And today's a great example. We're going to enjoy talking about elephants and the beach. Like, those two things are really, really important. And Christine's here to talk about her journey as well. Christine, welcome to Living the Next Chapter. Glad to have you here.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on the show today.
Excellent. Christine, tell everybody, where are you in this big world of ours?
So I'm a little north of Boston.
Excellent. Not too far away from me. I'm up here in Canada, so this is good. Your story is interesting. You're a teacher. You have been teaching for a long time. What was your initial attraction to becoming a teacher? Why was that so important for you to follow that path in life?
So when I was younger, I was extremely quiet and I loved reading books. I also had a love for animals. I originally wanted to be a vet, but I cannot stomach the sight of blood. So that dream went out the window. And as I got older, I started working with children. I did a lot of after school programs, babysitting, and I found it to be very rewarding. Also, it gave me a lot of creativity because you get to do all sorts of activities and games. So then I went to Merrimack College, and from there I became a teacher. And while I was teaching, story time was my favorite part of the day because all the kids sat on the floor and we would read a book. But a lot of books have a lot of social skills in them. So we would talk about what social skills were in the books, and the kids were able to really share from their own experiences. And I found that there really weren't a lot of books on shy kids. So that's why I decided to write my own.
For you as a teacher, was that a hard thing for you to do, coming from, I'm a shy, introverted person myself, to putting yourself in front of a classroom and teaching students? Was that hard for you at first to kind of make that transition into that kind of setting?
At first it was, but I think kids are less intimidating than a classroom full of adults. I did not like when the administration came in. That made me nervous. But being in front of a group of kids, they're not really judging you. And at first it was a little difficult, but then I really enjoyed it and loved working with the kids. And like I said, it was a fun job because you get to be creative and you get to do all sorts of different activities, and just seeing them learn is just awesome. So
with your background teaching and reading with kids in the classroom, talk a little bit about why you think it's important as parents, a parent yourself, I'm a parent as well, to read to your kids, to have books in your home, to make that part of our daily life with our children. Why are books so important for our kids?
So I have 3 children, 6, 4, and 2, and I read with them every night. And I think it's extremely important to get kids reading when they're younger. So even if they can't read, it's important for them to just look at the books, and then hear the stories. I started with my kids very young, so we're in a routine now, and it helps them to grow a love for reading. And something else that I think that's really important that a lot of parents sometimes forget is that the local library is a great resource for parents and teachers. And I started bringing my kids when they were younger, and they just really enjoy going to the library. They love getting the bag and picking out their own books because a lot of times parents have to buy books, but going to the library, you can get as many books as you want. So for my kids, sometimes they find books that I wouldn't necessarily buy for them. And then the library also has a lot of great free activities that help kids to really get into reading too. So our library over the summer, we went to a couple of activities. They had a Shark Week one, which was really fun. They had all sorts of shark books, and then they had activities. They had puppets, coloring pages, and it just really gets kids to enjoy reading. And I think that we have to do that when they're early and young because when they're older, they're not going to enjoy reading if you don't show them when they're younger how fun it is to read.
Okay, so I have a non-author question for you because I'm not an author, so I don't know the answer to this. How do you get your book into your local library so your kids can take out your book, or you can read to kids in the library and do a little reading within the library? How does an author get their book into a library like your library?
So at different libraries, there's different ways to do it. At our library, I know the people there, so I just emailed them and they said, "Oh, we'd love to have the book there." But then there's some libraries that they actually make it pretty easy. They have a request page. So the Boston Public Library just had a request sale page, and you just request that they buy your book, and then if it's approved, your book is in the library. So it's
Oh,
a lot of just the author reaching out and getting the book into places, but the libraries do make it pretty easy.
so you would suggest that for authors listening, if they haven't thought about doing this, they probably should reach out to their local library and get their book on the shelf in the library as well then.
Oh, yeah, I would suggest
Yeah.
it to any author out there to email the libraries, or sometimes, like I said, they have their own section on the website. So sometimes you don't even have to email. You just click on the submit purchase link, and then you can just put your book there. And it's a great place for your book to be.
Have you done in-person readings with kids around your book as well since the book has come out?
Yes. So I did a lot of school readings before school got out because it was the summertime,
Okay.
and we did beach party read aloud. So I brought beach towels, sunglasses. The kids loved it, beach balls, and we would read the book, but then we'd play a few games. We would talk about the beach. And then afterwards, the kids would pretend they were at the beach with an elephant and they would do an activity. What would they do at the beach with an elephant? So it was a lot of fun. I haven't done any yet since school started because school's just been in session a few weeks here,
Yeah.
but I did probably 20 before school ended, and then I did a few at a bookstore near me.
I can remember being in grade school, I think grades 4 or 5 or something, and an author came to class. And we did that same thing. We sat on the floor. The author was there. I think the author was probably in their late teens. But to me, I thought it was like the most amazing thing ever that an author would come to my school and be in front of my class and read to me from their book. I just thought it was like this was some kind of superstar in my school. This author was there because I love their books. I read their books at home, and now they're like sitting in front of me. It's like this weird moment that's a real person that wrote this book. It's really interesting, and it left a big imprint on me growing up that anything is possible. You could be an author. You could be out there talking about your book and meeting people and helping people. And people look up to you the moment you create something like this. So when you're sitting there reading to these kids, is that a meaningful moment for you as the author to see them loving the story and interacting with you as the author? What does that feel like for you on the other side of that situation? How do you feel when you're doing that?
So it does feel extremely meaningful, and it makes me very happy to see the kids enjoying the book. And I went to one classroom and a girl had her elephant shirt on because she loved elephants. And it was so cute. She came over and she said, "I knew you were coming today, so I wore my elephant shirt." So it really is enjoyable, and I like bringing the story to life and bringing in activities and props for the kids. They love the sunglasses, even if they don't wear them because it's too dark. Sometimes they just put them on their head. But it just shows them that books can be fun. And also, like you said, they can be an author. And if it's something that they really want to do, then there's ways to do it.
So you have a teacher's heart through all of this. When you were reading to your kids in class, what kind of things were they loving to read? What kind of things were they enjoying as students in the classroom? How did you kind of pick the books that you would read with them in class? Can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
So I would pick a variety of different books. They usually like the silly books. We went for
Yeah.
those a lot. And then I would pick a lot of books if there were certain holidays coming up. I
Okay.
love to read books on all different topics. So I would go to the library or I would get my own books online and just try to also read books about what they were learning about. So if they were learning about the ocean, then I would pick books on the ocean. So there was always sort of a theme there, whether it was a holiday, what we were learning about in school, just things to really connect it and to make it meaningful for them.
Okay. So we have teachers listening to the podcast right now. They're going to be reading in class this week. Can you talk to them for a second, teacher to teacher, about why they should be reading your book in class coming up in the next few weeks? What would you say to them about your book? What do the teachers need to know?
So I would tell the teachers out there that the book is very good on teaching different social skills. So it shows a girl that's shy. She wants to be by herself and she's a little apprehensive to join the group. The elephants invite her to join the group. And at first she says no. And then she warms up and she does join the group. So it's good for going back to school, showing kids that sometimes it takes some other people a little while to want to join the group. And then it also shows the extroverted side. So the elephant inviting the girl to play. So it shows both sides, which teachers can talk about with students. Sometimes we have to be patient with kids that might take a little while to join the group, but also it's nice sometimes to lend an extra hand and say, oh, do you want to join the group?
Okay, so I'm getting a size comparison in my mind. I'm thinking elephants are large and big, and this little girl is small compared to the elephant. I think as somebody shy myself growing up, I always consider myself little, trying to be small in the room, not draw attention to myself, so I would consider myself small. And then anybody that was like excited or animated, they were bigger to me, even if we were the same age. So is that kind of a comparison I'm getting between the elephant and the girl in the story, this kind of size comparison as well?
Yes. So there's a lot of comparisons if you look into it. So the
Okay.
elephants are fun, loud. They're playing games. Their presence is louder, as you said,
Okay.
than the
Yeah.
little girl. The little girl is
Yeah.
quiet and shy. But even though she doesn't have such a big presence, she still matters. And then she ends up
Yeah.
having fun with them. And it kind of brings out her fun side. And she also learns not to judge people before she gets to know them, which is something also kids should know before going into a new school year. Because at first she thinks the elephants are kind of bothersome because they block the sun, they get sand on her
Uh,
towel. And then once she plays with them, she realizes, oh, they're actually just having fun. So that's another lesson that people can talk about with a new group of kids because it's tough sometimes for kids to get to know others and
yeah.
just to really be patient, be kind, and not to judge anyone before you actually get to know them.
Okay. That's really good information. I think that's great. We got to go deeper on the story about the elephants and why that part of the story is so important for you as the author. You actually had the opportunity to travel and to see elephants in their natural state. That's got to be thrilling. I've never done anything like that. Can you talk a little bit about your journey and what was that like? When was it? Tell us a little bit of what you saw when you did that trip.
Sure. So growing up, I collected elephants, and my parents and grandparents, when they traveled, they brought me lucky elephants. And I just always enjoyed watching them. Have always been my favorite animal because they're fun, they're social, they're playful. And 8 years ago, I had the opportunity to go to Africa with my mom and my husband. And it was amazing. We went on all sorts of safaris and we saw the animals in the wild, and they are very social animals, but they're also very maternal animals, and they take care of one another. So you see the mom walking with the baby, they travel in herds, and it was just incredible to see how they actually are. They're very playful. They were playing by the water. So that's why I thought it would be a good character for a book, because they are extremely social, but also very nurturing and kind animals. So where the girl is shy, the elephant is a nurturing kind of animal that would be nice to her, rather than, obviously, I'm not going to do like a lion or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I incorporated the elephant, because to me, they've always been lucky. We call them lucky elephants. And I just think that their personalities matched the character. And also, and kids think they're funny because of their size. So I thought that
Right.
it would be funny to have an elephant at the beach, rather than, I mean, we all love dogs, but a dog at the beach we've seen before. So it's just something
Yeah.
that makes it
Different.
funny.
Yeah. I remember I was with you. There was an earthquake that happened in California just a while ago, and there was footage of the zoo, and the elephant's response to the earthquake was to encircle the younger elephants. They're and all the adult elephants made this circle, and the younger ones were inside the circle, being protected by the adults. And I'm like, that was their first defense. Let's circle the small ones, put them in the middle, and all the big elephants stood outside protecting them. And I'm like, and it was just instant reaction to the threat of an earthquake, and that was their response. And I'm like, that sounds exactly like what you're talking about. This maternal, protective aspect that they have for their own. I think that's really interesting. In real time, we saw that happen. So, wow.
Yeah, my friend actually sent me a video recently. There was an elephant at the zoo, and a gazelle was drowning, and the elephant actually just put its trunk in and saved the animal. So they are incredible animals. So that's why I wanted to include them in the book.
And the fact that you've loved elephants for so long, and now you have a book that includes that, I think that's kind of a nice full circle moment for you. All that elephant collecting has really paid off. I like that. I did ask before we jumped on if you wouldn't mind reading a little bit to us from the book. I think for us as readers and as parents, to hear the author read their own a little portion of their book for us is like it's an amazing treat, because you wrote the words, you know the story the best. And to hear you read a little bit to us from the book, I think would be really, really fun. So would you be okay with that? Can you share a little bit from the book for us?
Sure. So I have the book right here.
Right there. Of course, it's right there. It's beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. So it says, if you're a quiet kid like me, don't go to an elephant beach. Don't go to an elephant beach, because the elephants will accidentally break your beach chair. One of them will pop your floaty with her tusk when she tries to use it. When you move to a new spot, their shadows will block the sun, making it seem like nighttime. The ground will shake when the elephants dance, making a sandy mess on your towel. They will serve their volleyball out of bounds onto your beach bag. When you return the volleyball, they will invite you to play, but you will say no thanks and go back to reading. You will hear them cheering, but block them out with headphones. Smash! The volleyball will land on your book. You will return it again, but stay to watch, just for a few minutes. You will start to think the game looks like fun. Wow, you will score a point. After the game, they will make huge waves for you to surf in. One elephant will share her big, big towel with you so that you can dry off. The elephants will get scared and scream when they see a tiny hermit crab. You will think they are silly and show them not to be afraid. They will loudly cheer and trumpet their trunks. They will offer you some of their enormous elephant lunch, and you will say yes. You will give them beach hats, even if they look silly. One elephant will play music loudly and teach you elephant dances. Together, you will build the biggest sand castle. You will read them stories and sing silly songs. You will not want to go home. They will give you elephant hugs when you leave. So please don't go to an elephant beach if you want to have a fun beach day. And that is
Nice.
the book.
I love it. Do you have any input into the artwork for the book? Because I think the beautiful thing about children's books, there's your words, but then there's also the art side of it and the pictures that the kids love to see. Do you have any direction in that process of determining what the images look like that go along with your book?
Yes, so I wrote a note sheet for what I wanted all of the images to look like. And then we went back and forth about the pictures and what I wanted changed and what I didn't want changed. So I did have control over what the pictures look
And you
like.
said you went to an event recently and met somebody that does like stuffed animals, and that there's potential that maybe you might have some kind of stuffed animal to go along with the book in the future. That's a great idea, by the way. And can you talk a little bit about that? Like, is that exciting for you to think you're going to have like an actual character your kids can hold as they read your book?
Yes, it's very exciting. So I love stuffed animals. My kids love stuffed animals. And I was recently at a book fair and somebody was there and they had stuffed animals to go along with their book. So I was talking to him and he gave me contact information for somebody that makes toys. So I have been going back and forth. They're working on a design. I saw the elephant last week and it looks very cute. They're working on the outfit and hopefully it will be available for sale by the end of the year. But I am very excited about that aspect.
That's amazing. And we chatted too before we hit record that your book is going to be showing up in Germany. And we actually have listeners who listen in Germany who might be going to this event. So they need to keep their eyes open to come and purchase one of your books at this book event. What does that mean for you as an author to write a book for children and know that someone on the other side of the world is going to be looking at your book at a book fair in Germany? Like, that's got to be exciting for you to know that people are going to see your book in another country. It just seems really, really big. It must be really fun for you.
Yes, it's very exciting. So I received a call 2 weeks ago from a company that wanted to exhibit the book in Germany. And I am thrilled that the book is going to be there. I am unfortunately not going to be there. Next year, I will plan ahead because honestly, I didn't even know about this book fair. Somebody reached out to me and it's enormous. And I am very excited that the book will be there. And next year, I will definitely plan ahead so that I can attend the book fair.
That's amazing. When you sat down to write this book, did you have any concept that your book would be at a book fair in Germany? Like, was that part of this at all? No. Okay.
No. I honestly didn't know where the book was going to go. So it's all very exciting.
It's amazing. Do you know if elephants are naturally shy? Because I'm curious, because I would think that they don't seem to be like very, very like loud and boisterous all the time. They're very kind of just quiet. So I wonder if elephants are shy, like kind of a human shyness. I'm curious about that.
You could probably say that. They definitely, like you said, are not loud animals. They're definitely more on the quiet side. And I think that maybe you could probably say they are shy. I know they're social with each other, but I mean, that's a good question.
Yeah, it really ties into the subject of your book, too. I like that. My podcast is Living the Next Chapter, so I do like to ask my guests, because my audience wants to know as well, especially when there's a book they love, if the author is going to continue writing. So is that something that you have in the plans for the future, to keep writing and sharing more stories?
Yes. So I actually have a second book that's in the illustration phase, and it's on a totally different topic. It's on the topic of loss. So when I was teaching, I really found that there weren't a lot of books that deal with loss, and kids deal with loss. There's parents, grandparents, pets. So I wrote a book and it's about a little girl and her grandfather. It's loosely based upon the relationship I had with my grandfather. He did not pass away when I was little, but we were very close. And it shows the little girl and he passes away and she learns how to deal with her grief and remember him and honor his memory. So it shows kids that it's okay when somebody passes away to feel sad. And there's things that we can do to help remember
That's
them.
very interesting because I know, too, kids, one of the first things they're going to learn around grief is maybe pets. That's one thing where they're really connected with their favorite pet and it passes away and they don't know what to do in that situation. They don't know how to handle that. And that's maybe the first encounter with grief. So to have a comforting book like yours to go with that, I think that would be really good for parents to have that as well. So it's exciting. Are you just going to keep writing? Are you going to keep working into the future now as an author? Is there a lot of other ideas that you have to write about?
Yes, I actually have a third book that is in just the writing phase, but
Good.
I'm going to be doing a book called Letters and Sounds with Lola and Sophie. And those are two dogs that I had. So it's going to be an alphabet book. And it shows the two dogs. Lola she passed away, but their personalities are just very different. So the book shows things that are similar and different and while showing the letters. Because as a mother, I found that my children really like alphabet books because they're learning the alphabet themselves.
Right.
So reading alphabet books with them, they get to point out all the different letters and words that start with that letter. So that book is just in the beginning phases, but that's my third idea. So we'll see where it goes.
I like it. What do your kids think of mom being an author and having a book that they can reach over and grab at night and flip through the pages before they fall asleep? What do your kids think about this, about mom being an actual author of children's books?
They think it's great. So when we first got the book, my littlest kept saying, "Oh, mommy's on the back of the book. Mommy's on the book." So they love that my picture is on the book. And then when I go do book events, my oldest, he enjoys helping me get ready for the event. So he'll say, "Okay, well, you got to bring this, you have to bring that, let's pack it up." And then I went to all of their classrooms last year, which they really liked because I got to go into the room and do the whole beach party with them. And then today I actually sent in copies from my son's school library and his teacher. So they'll have copies of the book. And he was very proud to be bringing that in today.
Now, that's a memory your kids are going to grow up with. And when they become adults, who knows what they're going to do in life. But having you as an example of my mom did this great thing and wrote these books as I was growing up as a child, I think you're setting your kids up for some great successes in the future.
That's what I'm hoping, to show them that they can do whatever they want to do.
How are you with your shyness? Are you being out there talking to people about your book, maybe going to the book fair in Germany next year? These are all opportunities for you to step up in front of people now and talk about your book, be on podcasts, do all this promotion around your book. Any tips for an author who is a little bit shy about getting out there and talking about their book? Do you have any suggestions for them as they navigate that?
I would say if you're a shy person like I am, it sometimes takes a little while to get used to doing things, but in the end, it's rewarding. You get to meet all of these wonderful people. The first podcast I did, I remember I was extremely nervous because I had never done one and I didn't know what to expect. But to me, it's not that kind of scary because you're technically just talking to one person, but speaking in front of a lot of adults, I still find intimidating, but doing the podcast, I've gotten used to. And like I said, it's a nice way to get the book out there, but also to meet new people. So if somebody's shy, I would tell them to just kind of try something new. And if you do it once, you'll find that it's not that scary. And then you'll end up enjoying it. And it's a great way to get the book out there while meeting people all over the world, and you don't have to go anywhere.
Have your kids met an elephant in real life yet? Have they have that chance yet?
Just at the zoo. Besides that, they haven't.
Okay, so they've actually seen one in real life, though? No.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. How did they respond to seeing a real life elephant?
They're big animal people because I have kind of pushed it on them because I like animals so much. So when we go to the zoos, they like going to all of the petting zoos and all of those things. And even when we see animals outside, they run to the windows. There's a rabbit
Yeah.
outside. There's a rabbit
Yeah.
outside. So it's nice to see them enjoy the things that I like. And being an animal person, it's important that my kids enjoy animals. They all love our dog, and it's nice to see.
Nice. Excellent. Excellent, Christine. Thank you so much for being here and sharing about your book and your reading to us. I think that's amazing. And for those people that are interested in following you more about your posts, you talk about your book, you talk about your journey on your website. Maybe we'll see more information about the stuffed animals on your website in the future as well. But where do you want to send the listener so they can connect with you? Maybe there's a teacher as well that wants to get a copy of your book for their classroom. Where do they go? Where would you like to send the listener?
Sure. So you can go to my website. It's Christine, then -Devane.com. And as you said, there's all sorts of posts there, a gallery, and the stuffed animals, when they are done, will be available and linked on there. Then the book is also for sale on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And then if they want to find me on social media, it's STINED13. That's at Instagram. And You can follow me there.
Excellent. And then for your local area, if there's a classroom looking for you to come in and read your book to their classroom and their students, you'd be available through your website as well?
Yes. So there's a contact me section, and that goes directly to me. So if people want me to go to different events, I've had a few people reach out. I'm going to a literacy festival next week. Somebody sent me a message on there. So if you would like me to go to any sort of classroom or any event like that, you can go to the contact me section, fill it out, and then I'll get an email and then I can respond to you.
Christine, thank you so much for being on the show. Congratulations on your book and many, many more to come. I'm excited to see your journey as an author, and thank you for creating great books that we can share with our children to encourage them to read, to love books, to love animals, and for their kids who may be a little shy to know that there's someone out there they can see themselves in the pages of a book, and it can really help them to find their place in life. I really appreciate what you write about and how you show up for us as readers. Thank you so much for doing this.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. I really enjoyed it.
Excellent. Everyone, all information for Christine, as always, in the show notes. Make sure you go over there. For our listeners in Germany, I'm asking you to specifically go and search out for Christine's book and buy a copy in Germany. I think that would be a thrill for Christine to hear that kind of information coming back to her, that she's selling books in Germany at the book fair. I think that's amazing. Again, Christine, thank you so much for doing this, and congratulations. Looking forward to many, many more things from you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. Glad to have you here. I just want to let you know that you can always find out what we're doing live in the moment by going to our YouTube channel. Head over to livingthenextchapter.com. There'll be a link right there. Head over to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things that all the YouTubers love to say. And in our YouTube channel, a couple things. You're going to get advanced listens. You're going to get the episodes that we're working on in real time. So we record and post daily on our YouTube channel. I'd love for you to give us a follow over there. As well, we're making playlists. We have over 500 episodes. So finding the right episode for you, we're trying to group things into playlists. So if you like children's books, if you like business, you like historical fiction, we're grouping our authors together to make it a little easier for you to find your favorite next author. So head over to livingthenextchapter.com. And again, I'd love to hear from you. Hearing from the listeners of the show is great. And I just want to say thank you for being a part of the podcast family. And I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time and your listen. Take care.